When I was stuck in the ER after an accident, none of my family showed up. They all went to cheer at my brother's football game instead. Hours later, as I sat alone in recovery, my phone buzzed with a text from my dad. "We need to fix this now." Followed by 76 missed calls. "Stop pretending you're the victim, Ethan!" My dad's voice cracked the air before I even reached the hallway. Mom sat at the dining table, mascara streaked down her cheeks, while my brother Cole leaned back in his chair like he owned the place. The house smelled like burnt coffee and tension. My hospital wristband still clung to my skin. The IV mark on my arm stung with every heartbeat. "You left me in the ER," I said quietly. No one answered. Cole rolled his eyes. "We didn't leave you. You said you were fine." I was half conscious. He shrugged. "You should have called." I laughed under my breath, the kind of laugh that scares even you. Mom flinched. "Don't make this dramatic, Ethan. Your brother had his final game." My ribs were cracked, Mom. Dad slammed his fist on the table. "Enough. You always find a way to turn everything into about you. We're trying to talk about your attitude." "My attitude?" I said, voice trembling between anger and disbelief. He pointed at me, hand shaking slightly. "You've been acting distant, secretive. I know you've been hiding something." The room went silent. Even Cole stopped smirking. I stared at them all, the people who cheered while I bled. And for the first time, I didn't defend myself. I just said, "You're right. I have been." And walked out, leaving 3 faces frozen in confusion. My name is Ethan Hale. I'm 26. I work in software. Remote, mostly quiet hours, not much human contact. I'm not dramatic. I'm observant, the kind of guy who remembers every word people wish they could take back. I've been the ghost in this house my whole life, the one who fixed things without being noticed. Bills, car loans, college fees. Mom used to say, "You're the dependable one." But that was just code for the disposable one. When I crashed my car 3 nights ago, skidding off a wet road on my way to deliver Cole's new equipment he forgot, I thought maybe someone would come. But they didn't. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not even my sister. Lila. When I woke up in recovery, my phone was full of photos from the game, them smiling under the stadium lights while I lay under hospital fluorescents. So yeah, Dad was right. I am hiding something. Something I've been preparing for months. The family portrait cracks. Dad, Gregory Hale, 58, contractor. Thinks shouting is leadership. Mom, Mara Hale, 55, silent martyr. Cries more for reputation than people. Cole, 23, golden boy. Football scholarship, family pride, emotionally hollow. Lila, 29, married, barely visits, but quick to judge. As I stood in that kitchen, they weren't people anymore. Just rolls in a machine that only ran when I fueled it. Dad poured whiskey into his glass like it was routine. "We've all made sacrifices, Ethan. Don't act like you're the only one." "Really?" I asked. "Name one you made for me." He looked away. Cole muttered, "You're so ungrateful, man. I worked hard for that game." "You worked hard?" I stepped closer. "I paid for your surgery last year, remember? You didn't tell them that, did you?" Mom gasped softly. "You what?" Cole froze. "Ethan!" I smiled faintly. "Guess not." The silence that followed was heavy, but I wasn't done yet. "I paid your mortgage, Dad," I said quietly. "For 2 years. The business you said was thriving. I've seen your books." Dad's jaw locked. "You went through my files?" "You left them open on the kitchen computer." Lila scoffed from the corner. "So what? Now you're blackmailing your own family." "No," I said. "Just reminding you what you owe me." Mom stood, trembling. "This isn't who you are, Ethan." "You don't know who I am, Mom. You never asked." Cole threw his hands up. "Oh, come on! You think you're better than us just because you saved a few paychecks?" I smiled again, but this time it was cold. "No, Cole. I think I'm done pretending we're family. Something in Dad's face shifted. Fear, maybe. He knew I wasn't bluffing. Cole slammed his hand on the counter. Say whatever you want, man, but this is still Dad's house. I looked around. Not for long. Dad's glass paused mid-air. What did you say? I leaned against the doorway. You remember the refinancing papers last year? The ones you didn't read before signing. You signed half the property into my name. Mom gasped, clutching her chest. Greg, tell me that's not true. It was temporary, Dad barked. He said it was for tax purposes. I nodded. I said that because you'd never agree otherwise. But guess what? I've been making every payment since. You stopped 6 months ago. Cole's voice rose. You can't do this. I already did. The room spun with chaos, shouting, disbelief, betrayal. I stood still, calm, silent. That's when they finally realized. The quiet one had been listening all along. 3 years ago, Cole's scholarship was about to be revoked. Unpaid fees, bad grades. Dad was furious, so I took out a personal loan in my name, used my savings, and wired it quietly. The next day, Dad hugged Cole. We knew you'd pull through, son. Proud of you. I stood in the corner, holding my breath. No one asked where the money came from. That night, Mom came to my room and said, Don't tell your brother. Let him have this win. So I didn't, and I've been silent ever since. That was the night I learned something vital. Silence is power. Because the more you let people believe their own lies, the louder the truth hits when it lands. As the shouting died, I dropped a folder on the table. Inside were statements, accounts, transfers, hidden credit cards in my name. Mom's eyes widened. Where did you get those? I didn't. You did. Her lips trembled. Ethan, I cut her off. You used my identity to open lines of credit, to pay for Cole's training, didn't you? Dad's face drained of color. I found out months ago, I said. You forged my signature, Mom. That's identity theft. I could press charges. She started to cry. We were desperate. Not desperate, I said coldly. Just selfish. Cole stood frozen. You're not serious, man. I am, and I already reported it. Dad's face turned red. You went to the police? No, I said softly. I went to the bank, then the IRS. Cole cursed. Lila grabbed Mom's arm as she sank into a chair. You can't ruin us like this, Mom whispered. I'm not ruining you, I said. I'm setting you free. From pretending to be good people. The room was chaos. Phones ringing, voices cracking, years of fake smiles collapsing. I stepped back toward the door. I gave you all my silence, I said. Tonight, I give you the truth. Lila looked at me through tears. What happens now? I opened the front door. Now, you live with what you built. 2 weeks later, I sat in a quiet cafe near the coast, sunlight cutting through the window. The house was sold, the debts cleared. By them. I made sure of it. Cole's scholarship? Suspended. Dad's company? Under audit? Mom's name? Removed from every account tied to mine. For the first time in years, my phone was silent. No demands. No guilt. Lila texted once. You destroyed them. I replied, no. They destroyed themselves. I just stopped cleaning up the mess. And for the first time, I felt something close to peace. A month later, I visited the hospital again. Not as a patient, but as a volunteer. I sat beside an old man with no visitors. We talked about small things. Weather, food, football. When I left, I caught my reflection in the glass door. No bitterness. Just calm. I whispered to myself, for the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore. Then I smiled. It wasn't victory. It was freedom. If you were Ethan, would you forgive them? Or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. Like if you've ever been the quiet one who finally spoke up. Subscribe for more stories that hit where words usually don't. Comment below, because healing starts when someone finally listens.